All right, folks, this is exactly what it feels like buying a house nowadays. I'm gonna demonstrate it right this second. All right, so listen, it is not easy. It has never been easy, but it almost feels like you need to be lucky nowadays to actually buy a house. So let me buy 649. Next draw, please, and make that with Anchor, please, if you don't mind.
Anything else for you?
No, thank you so much. How many millions? Do you even know? 14 million, not bad. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Lucky Looney, appreciate it, thank you.
Bye.
Well, this is what it felt like, right? So after winning $14 million, if I ever win, who knows? I think I'll still continue shooting videos, but well, I know that this video would go viral. Imagine if my ticket actually won. It would be crazy, and I actually recorded it and I win $14 million. But the whole question here is, what would you do? Even if you would win $14 million, would you just put it in a bank account and say, hey, look, I'm just gonna live off of that, you know, interest forever? Or would you buy real estate? Would you sell $14 million into real estate and say, hey, look, I'm cool, I'm just gonna sink it all? And even though it doesn't really feel like much, right? Because an average house is like, you know, $1.2, $1.4 million nowadays, right? I mean, most of the people cannot even afford it nowadays, like, which is actually sad, right? But what would you do? Would you actually buy that mansion you're dreaming of and say, look, I win $14 million and I will sink, let's say, $4 million into a house, and then I will have $10 million to play, right? Because most of the lottery winners actually lost, right? Lost their wealth because they don't know how to, you know, deal with it, right? Which is obvious in another video. But last week I had so many solid conversations with so many sincere and good people, and I was stunned. I was actually surprised that speaking to a person, they have a beautiful house. They're on the wealthier side, you know, they made businesses and whatnot throughout the years. And, you know, now it's the time where their kids are, you know, like, they're getting married, they need shelter and all of that stuff. And he's giving them the basement, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, a person like you, like, two things. It's either the math absolutely doesn't work, or you have no money. I mean, there's no third freaking option here, right? Like, I mean, think about it for a second, right? I mean, if maybe they're showing it, but they're running dry, because nowadays you don't even know who is rich or wealthy, or who has it or who has it not. Like it's hard to distinguish, because most of everything that visually that you see is basically on credit, right? And so now I'm thinking, I'm like, well, why wouldn't you buy maybe a starter up home, which nowadays, like we were saying, like, it's more than $1 million, right? But maybe you can dim it down to a condo or something like that, like a small townhouse, or one of these, you know, crappy 3-store, 2-bedroom condo townhomes with high maintenance fees, right? But why would you leave your kids in that house, right? So it brings me to another question, because I heard it from someone else, and actually he's a subscriber, and he commented, actually, in the comment. He's a lawyer from back in the day. He's over 80 years old, and he said back in the day, living in Toronto High Park, like, how they would survive is have multiple generations under one roof, right? Like, and it is what it is, I guess, right? So I don't know if people are pushed again due to high real estate prices. Are they pushed again to actually evaluate that particular aspect of living again, right? Because as I said, like, this friend that I'm looking at, successful in business, I'm assuming has money, right? But you know, like he's putting his kids under one roof, right? Okay, house is big enough, but still, right? Then I was talking to some other folks, you know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous, right? Like ridiculous to hear this stuff, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because even these people that bought real estate back in the day, now they're coming to me and they're like, hey, look, man, like business is kind of struggling and it's tough, and I'm still putting numbers through, but it's not the same anymore. And you know, they're into eavestrough and soffit and siding and all of that exterior work, and they're like, look, like it's becoming very, very, very difficult to make these numbers work. And I asked him, how so? I mean, like, what's the problem? I mean, here, you know what I mean? Like, if you have your clientele and if everything is working well, why are you struggling, right? So the one thing that he mentioned is like, look, there are other companies undercutting me all the time, right? And I cannot get these jobs anymore. So yes, back in the day, I had the network of my sincere, loyal, etc. that I work with, and they know I'll finish the job on time. They'll not have any problems. But now again, like we're getting to the point where it's like people just want the price. And then I speak to the third person, which is a developer, and he tells me, look, like there's no way that real estate is gonna go down in terms of price value. And I say, well, how so? Well, because it takes so much money to build a particular, you know, house or project or whatever, right? So it takes an X amount of dollars. So I said, okay, so explain further. He's like, well, we cannot build it, basically. That's basically what it is. Land value, construction value, red tape, the city value, all the permits and all of that stuff. You cannot build it for the price, like cheaper. Like, that's basically what it is. But then I say, look, like if that's the case, then if people cannot afford it, then they're not buying it. It's as simple as that. Like, if people cannot afford a particular product, they will not be able to afford it or buy it. Like, it's just as simple as that, right? So I believe we're in the pickle. And then the news is sitting there saying, like, look, CMHC, you know, insured a lot of mortgages. The banks will never allow it to go under a certain threshold. I said, what kind of nonsense is that? Why wouldn't they allow it? I mean, like, look, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's very simple. And if they have to cut their losses, they will cut their losses. However, they have the chance to be bailed out, unlike an individual person, right? Because if you owe, you owe. But the banks can be bailed out by governments and all that stuff. But if you are not paying, the property or a property will be taken away from you. Like, it's as simple as that. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out. Like, I mean, like, just be careful, obviously, with all of that stuff, buying lotteries and whatnot, because even the odds of winning 649 is like 1 against, I think, 14 million or so, right? But who knows? I mean, like, if you don't play, you don't win, I guess. But I mean, like, just overall, it feels like you already have to have millions or, you know, generational wealth in order to do something. But it would be interesting to see what you will comment. Like, would you sink the entire 14 million in real estate, leave it at the bank, buy Bitcoin, or maybe diversify, like, you know what I mean? Like a stock portfolio, a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of real estate, a little bit of leaving it in the bank, be, you know, cash is the king type of aspect, right? So let's see. Let's see what you have to say, or if you feel the same way how I feel. Because as we're walking right here in this beautiful area of Long Branch, which is south of Lakeshore here, like the lake is literally like walking distance this way. I mean, all these properties are in millions, in the millions. Doesn't matter what you touch, they're in the millions, right? So, I mean, the only way to bypass all these years is to win the lottery. I hope you enjoyed this content, you liked this video. Please share it, and I'll see you in the next one.